The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened with all the pomp and circumstance you'd expect from a civilization that had spent 3,000 years perfecting the art of bureaucratic drama. Representatives from 1,200 species gathered in the crystal amphitheater of Nexus Prime, their tentacles, claws, and various appendages waving dramatically as they argued over whose turn it was to speak first. Commander Vextar of the Zephyrian Empire rose from his ornate hover throne, his forearms spreading wide like he was conducting an orchestra of doom. The guy had scales that shimmered purple and gold, 6 eyes that blinked in sequence, and a voice that could make a funeral dirge sound cheerful. Foe beings of the galaxy, Vextar boomed, "We face an unprecedented threat, a world so savage, so unpredictable, that it defies all logic and reason. A planet whose inhabitants are so chaotic that they make the berserkers of Rigel look like meditation instructors." The assembled delegates gasped, chittered, and made various noises of concern. Ambassador Flixnorp of the Crystalline Collective actually fainted, which was impressive considering they were made of living rock. "Earth," Vextar continued, savoring the word like it tasted of sulfur and regret. "They must be eliminated before they discover faster-than-light travel and inflict their madness upon the rest of us." Senator Quiblex from the Bureaucracy Nebula raised 7 of his 12 hands. "But Commander, what evidence do we have that these humans pose such a threat?" Vextar activated the holographic display, showing various intercepted Earth transmissions. Observe their entertainment protocols. They create fictional scenarios where they destroy their own planet repeatedly, for fun. They broadcast these destruction fantasies across their entire electromagnetic spectrum like some sort of psychological warfare program. The Council watched in horror as clips from disaster movies, alien invasion films, and zombie apocalypse shows played out in 3-dimensional glory. A few delegates actually vomited, which was unfortunate for everyone involved. Furthermore, Vextar added, "Clearly enjoying himself now, they've weaponized their own sustenance. They deliberately consume poison for pleasure and call it alcohol. They've created substances so dangerous that they require warnings, then eat them anyway and call them hot sauce." The murmurs of terror grew louder. Minister Blopglop of the Pacifist Alliance was hyperventilating into a breathing apparatus. "I propose we declare immediate war upon this planet Earth," Vextar announced, "before they become aware of our existence and decide to visit us." The vote was unanimous. Well, almost unanimous. The delegate from the Contrarian Collective voted against it purely on principle, but nobody listened to them anyway. And so, with all the formal ceremony that 3 millennia of galactic civilization could muster, the Galactic Council officially declared war on Earth. The declaration was filed in triplicate, stamped with the official seal of universal doom, and transmitted via subspace to all member worlds. The message was also sent to Earth, of course. Standard diplomatic protocol demanded it. Jake Murphy had been mopping floors at NASA's Goldstone Deep Space Communications Complex for 6 years, and in all that time, the most exciting thing that had happened was when someone spilled coffee on the quantum processing unit. So when the computer terminals started beeping and displaying what looked like gibberish from outer space, Jake did what any reasonable janitor would do. He assumed it was spam. "Probably those Nigerian princes again," Jake muttered, wheeling his mop bucket toward the offending terminal. "Now they're pretending to be from space. What's next? Time travelers asking for my social security number." The message, which contained the formal declaration of war from the Galactic Council, complete with legal terminology that would have made a law professor weep, scrolled across the screen in 17 different alien languages. He scowled. Jake squinted at it for exactly 3 seconds before hitting the delete key. "Galactic Council, my ass," he said, returning to his mopping. "If aliens were real, they'd have better graphic design." 3 floors up, Dr. Amanda Foster was having her own encounter with cosmic significance. As the lead researcher for SETI's Project Listening Post, she spent her days monitoring radio telescopes for signs of intelligent life. What she didn't know was that intelligent life had been monitoring her right back, and frankly, they were concerned. "Anything interesting today, Amanda?" asked her colleague, Dr. Pete Williams, as he poured coffee that could strip paint. Same old background noise, Amanda replied, adjusting her headphones. Though there's been some weird interference on the deep space channels, probably just solar activity. The weird interference was actually the Galactic Council's emergency military communications, but Amanda's equipment was calibrated to look for simple mathematical sequences or prime numbers, not the complex bureaucratic language of interstellar warfare. To her instruments, the declaration of war sounded like static with delusions of grandeur. Meanwhile, across the planet, 7 billion humans continued their daily routines with the blissful ignorance that only comes from being completely unaware that you're now the galaxy's most wanted species. In Tokyo, salary workers complained about train delays. In London, people argued about the weather. In New York, someone got into a heated debate about pizza toppings that was more passionate than most diplomatic negotiations. Bob Henderson, a construction worker in Denver, was having a particularly normal day installing satellite dishes. He'd just finished mounting a new array when he noticed some kind of technical malfunction. The dish was picking up weird signals and making a low humming noise. "Piece of junk equipment," Bob grumbled, giving the dish a solid whack with his wrench. The humming stopped immediately. What Bob didn't know was that his piece of junk equipment had just detected the approach of alien scout ships, and his therapeutic wrench application had somehow interfered with their cloaking systems. 3 Zephyrian reconnaissance vessels suddenly found themselves visible to Earth's primitive radar systems, which promptly classified them as weather balloons and filed the reports under atmospheric anomalies. In shopping malls, people bought things they didn't need. In offices, workers attended meetings about meetings. In schools, children learned about the periodic table, while the galaxy's most advanced civilizations were preparing to wipe them from existence. It was a perfectly ordinary Tuesday on Earth, which meant it was already more chaotic than most alien species could comprehend. The humans were about to prove that sometimes the best defense is having absolutely no idea you need one. Captain Blorgan of the Zephyrian Reconnaissance Fleet prided himself on being a professional. He'd led successful scouting missions to 47 worlds, written the definitive manual on pre-invasion intelligence gathering, and once won a medal for outstanding achievement in covert observation. So when his fleet of 12 advanced stealth ships approached Earth, he expected a routine survey mission. What he got instead was a migraine that would last for 3 weeks and a crisis of faith in his chosen profession. "Begin standard reconnaissance protocol," Blorgan ordered, settling into his command chair. "Deploy sensor arrays and monitor all communications channels." His communications officer, Lieutenant Splorg, immediately began hyperventilating. "Captain, you need to hear this. The humans are broadcasting their battle plans on every frequency simultaneously." Blorgan frowned. "Impossible. No species is that tactically incompetent." "Sir, they're describing detailed scenarios for planetary invasion, zombie apocalypses, nuclear warfare, and something called reality television that appears to be some form of psychological torture." The main view screen lit up with intercepted Earth broadcasts, a movie trailer for Alien vs. Predator vs. Humans vs. Tuesday played alongside a cooking show where someone was preparing something called ghost pepper wings while screaming about the pain. On another channel, humans were voluntarily entering a house filled with cameras and eliminating each other through a complex voting system. "By the 7 moons of Zephyr," Blorgan whispered. "They're broadcasting their training programs. Look at this tactical simulation." He pointed to a video game stream where a 12-year-old was casually obliterating alien invaders while simultaneously insulting the enemy's parents, ancestry, and personal hygiene choices. Science Officer Gleep was monitoring Earth's internet traffic and making concerning noises. "Captain, their information warfare capabilities are beyond anything we've encountered. They've created millions of propaganda units called memes that can apparently spread faster than our quantum communications." "Show me," Blorgan demanded. The screen filled with images of cats making sarcastic comments, humans doing impossible dance moves, and something called Florida Man, whose exploits seemed to defy the laws of physics, common sense, and basic survival instincts. This Florida Man entity alone has defeated alligators, hurricane-force winds, and the police using nothing but determination and poor decision-making skills Gleep reported, his voice shaking. I can't determine if he's their ultimate weapon or some kind of cautionary tale. Lieutenant Splorg was now monitoring social media feeds. Captain, they're conducting psychological operations on a planetary scale. Millions of humans are simultaneously sharing pictures of their food and arguing about topics that have no strategic significance whatsoever. It's like they're running a planet-wide confusion algorithm. Retreat? Blorgan ordered, his professional composure finally cracking. Full retreat. These humans aren't just dangerous, they're incomprehensible. They've weaponized chaos itself. The Zephyrian fleet turned tail and ran, leaving behind only a few sensor probes that immediately malfunctioned when they tried to analyze a TikTok video of someone attempting to eat cereal while riding a unicycle. Back on Earth, absolutely nothing changed. The humans continued posting pictures of their lunches, arguing about celebrities they'd never meet, and generally living their lives with the kind of chaotic energy that had just convinced an advanced alien civilization that Earth was populated by tactical geniuses pretending to be insane. In his report to the Galactic Council, Captain Blorgan wrote, "Recommend immediate escalation to full military response. These humans have achieved a level of strategic unpredictability that borders on the supernatural. They appear to be insane, but their insanity follows patterns so complex that it might actually be the most sophisticated battle doctrine ever devised." The humans, of course, remained completely unaware that they'd just won their first interstellar conflict by being themselves. Admiral Crox of the combined Galactic Fleet was what you might call old-school military. He'd conquered 17 star systems, suppressed 43 rebellions, and once ended a war by staring at the enemy negotiator until they surrendered. When the Galactic Council ordered him to deal with the Earth problem, he approached it with the same methodical precision that had made him a legend. That precision lasted approximately 6 hours after his fleet entered Earth's solar system. To begin comprehensive tactical analysis, Crox commanded from his flagship, the inevitable Doom. His crew of 1,200 officers from various species scrambled to comply, their tentacles, claws, and opposable thumbs working frantically at control panels. Chief Intelligence Officer Krex was the first to report. "Admiral, we're detecting massive energy signatures across the planet's surface. They appear to have millions of matter disintegration devices in civilian areas." "Show me," Crox demanded. The tactical display highlighted every microwave oven on Earth, 2 alien sensors designed to detect plasma weapons and particle accelerators, a device that could reduce solid matter to superheated particles in under 3 minutes. Looked like humanity's casual approach to food preparation was actually a weapon of mass destruction. "Sir," reported tactical analyst Vroom, "their mobile fortress formations are extraordinary. We look at these coordinated movement patterns." The screen showed aerial footage of Los Angeles traffic during rush hour. Thousands of vehicles moving in complex, seemingly random patterns that somehow managed to transport millions of humans to their destinations. "They've weaponized transportation itself," Crox muttered. "No wonder Captain Blorgan retreated. These humans have turned their entire civilization into a military operation disguised as daily life." Meanwhile, down on Earth, Bob Henderson was having another perfectly normal day. He'd been called to fix a satellite dish at a suburban home where the family couldn't get decent reception. As he climbed onto the roof, he noticed something glinting in the sky. That's weird," Bob said, squinting upward. "Looks like a really big plane." The really big plane was actually Admiral Crox's personal reconnaissance shuttle, cloaked and hovering at what the aliens considered a safe distance. Bob shrugged, pulled out his phone, and took a selfie with the mysterious object in the background. "Honey, look at this weird cloud formation," Bob called to his wife, posting the photo to social media with the caption "Tuesday vibes in Denver." Within minutes, the photo had been shared 6,000 times, liked by 40,000 people, and turned into 17 different memes. The alien reconnaissance team monitoring Earth's communications networks saw this rapid information dissemination and panicked. "They've detected us and are coordinating a global response," reported communications specialist Blarp. "The human information network is spreading tactical data faster than our quantum processors can analyze it." Admiral Crox watched as Bob's innocent selfie spawned conspiracy theories, joke responses, and a heated debate about whether the object was a weather balloon, a secret government project, or evidence that birds weren't real. To the aliens, it looked like humanity's intelligence network was so sophisticated that they could disguise military communications as nonsensical chatter. "Sir, we're receiving reports from ground teams," announced Lieutenant Commander Fizz. Recon Unit 7 approached what appeared to be a supply depot, but they were repelled by some kind of sonic defense system. The supply depot was actually a Walmart, and the sonic defense system was a greeter named Gladys saying "Welcome to Walmart" with the enthusiasm of someone who'd been doing the job for 30 years, and he had seen things that would break a lesser person's spirit. Recon Unit 3 reports being overwhelmed by a human psychological warfare specialist, Fizz continued. The individual somehow convinced 2 of our operatives to purchase something called extended warranties. "What's the status of Recon Unit 5? Crocs asked, though he was beginning to suspect he didn't want to know. They encountered a human child who challenged them to something called a dance battle. Our operatives are still recovering from the experience. Impede, sir. Apparently, the humans' movement patterns were so unpredictable that they induced temporary paralysis in our scouts." Admiral Crocs stared at the tactical display showing Earth's chaotic surface, where humans were going about their daily lives with the kind of unpredictable energy that his military training had never prepared him for. Every action the humans took seemed simultaneously meaningless and potentially devastating. To prepare the fleet for full assault, he finally ordered, "These humans are too dangerous to be allowed to develop further. We'll hit them with everything we have before they realize how terrifying they actually are." What Admiral Crocs didn't understand was that the humans already knew exactly how terrifying they were. They just called it Monday and kept going anyway. The assembled might of the Galactic fleet was a sight to behold. 1,200 ships from 47 different species, representing the combined military power of 3,000 years of interstellar civilization, approached Earth with the kind of overwhelming force that had toppled empires and reshaped star systems. General Zircon, Supreme Commander of Galactic Forces and holder of more military honors than most planets had population, stood on the bridge of the massive dreadnought Cosmic Retribution and prepared to add Earth to his list of conquered worlds. Today, he announced to his assembled fleet commanders via quantum communication, "We end the human threat once and for all. Their chaotic tactics and psychological warfare may have confused our scouts, but no species can stand against the organized might of the Galactic fleet." What General Zircon didn't know was that Earth had already begun its counterattack, and its most devastating weapon was something no military strategist in the galaxy had ever encountered: complete and utter incompetence on a planetary scale. The problems started the moment the fleet entered Earth's atmosphere. Every advanced alien technology, from faster-than-light drives to quantum communications arrays, began experiencing what could charitably be called technical difficulties, and what would more accurately be described as systematic nervous breakdowns. "Sir, we're losing primary navigation," reported Fleet Coordinator Zlorp from the bridge of the inevitable Victory. "Our quantum guidance systems are being interfered with by some kind of electromagnetic chaos field." The electromagnetic chaos field was actually just Earth's normal radio, television, cellular, and Wi-Fi transmissions. Every human on the planet was simultaneously streaming videos, posting social media updates, making phone calls, and generally filling the electromagnetic spectrum with the kind of digital noise that comes from 7 billion people trying to stay connected to the internet. "Weapon systems are malfunctioning," announced Tactical Commander Vrex. "Our plasma cannons keep trying to auto-tune to human broadcast frequencies." This was because Earth's radio waves were so chaotic and omnipresent that the alien weapons systems, designed to be adaptive and intelligent, couldn't figure out what they were supposed to be shooting at. The targeting computers were essentially having electronic nervous breakdowns trying to process reality television signals. General Zircon's flagship, the Cosmic Retribution, was the first to go down. As the massive dreadnought descended toward what the aliens had identified as a major strategic target, all of its systems suddenly died. The ship, which had conquered 47 worlds and reduced the resistance of the Andromeda sector to tears, crashed into the parking lot of a Walmart in suburban Minnesota. The Walmart employees, to their credit, handled the situation exactly as corporate training had prepared them for, which is to say they assumed it was just another Tuesday and someone else's problem. "Clean up on aisle everywhere," announced store manager Janet Patterson over the intercom, surveying the crashed alien dreadnought with the same expression she'd worn when dealing with the Black Friday shopping incident of 2019. General Zircon, crawling from the wreckage of his once mighty flagship, found himself face to face with Gladys, the Walmart greeter who had already traumatized one alien reconnaissance team. "Welcome to Walmart," Gladys said with the kind of customer service smile that had been perfected through decades of dealing with difficult shoppers, confused tourists, and people who thought they could return items without receipts. General Zircon, Supreme Commander of Galactic Forces and Terror of the Outer Rim, took one look at Gladys's smile and immediately surrendered. "I yield," he whispered, dropping his ceremonial weapon of conquest onto the asphalt. "Please don't make me purchase anything with an extended warranty." Across the planet, similar scenes were playing out. The Galactic Fleet, the most powerful military force in known space, was being systematically defeated by minimum-wage employees, confused shoppers, and people who just wanted to buy groceries in peace. Admiral Crox's ship crashed into a McDonald's drive-thru, where he found himself trapped in a conversation with a teenage employee who somehow convinced him to upgrade his order to a meal deal. The Zephyrian Imperial Guard, elite warriors who had never known defeat, surrendered to a mall security guard in Phoenix who assumed they were part of some kind of elaborate flash mob and asked them to keep the noise down. By sunset, the entire Galactic Fleet had either crashed, malfunctioned, or surrendered to retail workers. The greatest military campaign in galactic history had been defeated not by superior tactics or advanced weapons, but by humanity's accidental ability to make everything more complicated than it needed to be. The humans, naturally, remained mostly oblivious to the whole thing, treating it as just another weird news story that would probably be forgotten by next week's celebrity scandal. Jake Murphy discovered that Earth had won an interstellar war the same way he discovered most things, by accident, while taking out the trash. It was Thursday morning, and Jake was emptying wastebaskets in the NASA Communications Center when he noticed a printed email in Dr. Foster's garbage bin. The subject line read, "Read, official galactic surrender and plea for mercy," which seemed like the kind of thing that probably shouldn't be in the trash. Jake said, pulling out the crumpled paper. He read the first few lines, which contained formal apologies from something called the Galactic Council, offers of tribute, and a request for Earth to please not visit their planets because they weren't prepared for that level of chaos. Jake walked over to Dr. Foster's office, where she was monitoring the usual background static that she'd been analyzing for years. "Hey, Doc," Jake said, holding up the paper. "Is this some kind of joke? Says here that aliens surrendered to us, and we didn't even notice." Dr. Foster looked up from her instruments, took the paper, and read it twice. Then she pulled up her email, found several dozen similar messages that had been automatically filtered into her spam folder, and realized that Earth had accidentally become the most feared planet in the galaxy. "Well," she said after a long pause, "this explains the weird interference patterns I've been tracking all week." The news broke within hours, though like most earth-shattering revelations, it got buried somewhere between a celebrity breakup and a viral video of a cat playing piano. The headlines read things like "Earth accidentally wins space war" and "Aliens surrender to Walmart employees." But most people were too busy arguing about sports scores and pizza toppings to pay much attention. The Galactic Council, what was left of it, officially disbanded in shame. 3,000 years of interstellar civilization, and they'd been defeated by a species that couldn't agree on whether cereal was soup and spent most of their time watching videos of other people's pets. Ambassador Flixnorp of the Crystalline Collective, in his final statement before retiring to a monastery on a distant moon, said, "The humans didn't defeat us through superior strategy or advanced technology. They defeated us by being so chaotic that our understanding of logic itself broke down. They've weaponized entropy, and we have no defense against that." The tribute offers poured in. Advanced alien technologies, star maps, the secrets of faster-than-light travel, and something called the Universal Translator of Infinite Languages were all offered to Earth as payment for not coming to visit alien worlds. Most governments initially tried to classify the whole thing, but you can't really keep secret the fact that your planet is now considered the galaxy's ultimate superpower when the evidence includes several thousand crashed alien ships scattered across Walmart parking lots. Earth's response to becoming the most feared planet in the galaxy was exactly what you'd expect. They turned it into a meme, made a few documentaries, and then largely forgot about it when the next season of their favorite show started. Jake Murphy, meanwhile, went back to mopping floors. He'd saved the galaxy through the simple act of deleting spam email, which seemed about right for his life experience. When reporters asked him how it felt to be Earth's accidental hero, he shrugged and said, "Lady, I'm just here to clean the floors. But if any more aliens want to surrender, the suggestion box is by the front door." The galaxy learned an important lesson that day: never declare war on a species that's too disorganized to notice and too chaotic to defeat. Humanity continued doing what it had always done, which was stumbling through existence with the kind of magnificent incompetence that could apparently terrify advanced civilizations. And in the end, Earth remained exactly what it had always been: a small blue planet full of people who couldn't agree on anything except that the universe was probably someone else's problem. The universe, for its part, decided they were absolutely right.